Ladies and gentlemen, character is not a gift. It is not something you inherit, nor is it something you can borrow. Character is built brick by brick, choice by choice, decision by decision. It is the invisible foundation upon which the visible life stands. You can have gifts, talents, charisma, and success, but without character, all of it will eventually collapse. Character is not proven in comfort. It is forged in adversity. You don't discover who you really are when everything is going your way. You find out who you are when you are tested, tempted, and tried. And what you choose in those moments determines the person you are becoming. The greatest tragedy is not failure. It is succeeding at something without the character to sustain it. Because when your gift takes you to a place your character cannot keep you, collapse is inevitable. The secret to lasting influence, authentic leadership, and a legacy that endures is character. Every person who desires to fulfill a great purpose must commit to building a strong character. This means developing inner values that guide your outer life. It means choosing integrity when compromise would be easier. It means being the same person in the dark that you are in the light. Character cannot exist without truth. Truth is the foundation of all that is stable, enduring, and trustworthy. It is not merely about being honest with others, but about being honest with yourself, about your motives, your intentions, your flaws, and your growth. A person who lives without truth is like a builder laying bricks on shifting sand. No matter how beautiful the structure appears, it will not last. Truth gives you a fixed point of reference, a moral compass that doesn't change based on feelings, opinions, or trends. When truth is your foundation, your decisions gain clarity, your values gain depth, and your life becomes anchored in something bigger than emotion or ego. Living in truth requires courage. It means being willing to face uncomfortable realities instead of hiding behind excuses or pretending everything is fine. Sometimes the truth reveals your weaknesses. Sometimes it confronts your patterns of compromise. But if you're going to build character, you must welcome that confrontation, because truth is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally in the process of becoming who you were created to be. You cannot correct what you are not willing to confront, and you cannot confront what you refuse to acknowledge. The truth will make you free, but first it may make you uncomfortable. Truth also demands consistency. You cannot speak the truth and then live a lie. You cannot preach values in public and violate them in private. Truth builds trust over time. People trust those who are predictable in principle, those who do not change their position to fit the crowd or bend their values to avoid criticism. When you embrace truth as your foundation, you are no longer trying to please everyone. You are committed to living by an internal standard. You stop managing your image and start managing your integrity. Your words carry weight because they come from a place of authenticity. Moreover, truth empowers your identity. When you know the truth about who you are, your purpose, your value, your design, you stop chasing validation and start walking in conviction. Many people compromise their character because they don't know who they are. They wear masks, play roles, and bend to pressure just to be accepted. But when your life is built on truth, your identity is secure. You are not moved by praise or shaken by rejection. You live with boldness because you know what you stand on and you know who stands with you. Truth doesn't just protect your character, it defines it. Character is not built on talent or desire alone. It is built on discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to govern your impulses, manage your desires, and make decisions based on purpose rather than emotion. It is the invisible power that shapes your visible life. Every person who desires to live with character must learn to master themselves before they attempt to influence others. You cannot lead others effectively if you are a slave to your own appetites. The most powerful person is not the one who conquers nations, but the one who conquers themselves. Without discipline, potential is wasted, opportunities are lost, and character is compromised. Self-discipline is not about denying yourself for the sake of punishment. It's about aligning your actions with your vision. It is saying no to what is easy so you can say yes to what is essential. It means choosing growth over gratification and values over comfort. You cannot rise above the level of your discipline. If your vision is great, your level of self-discipline must match it. You must discipline your thoughts because every behavior begins with a thought. You must discipline your words because words shape atmosphere and reveal the heart. And you must discipline your habits because habits become patterns and patterns shape your future. One of the greatest challenges of self-discipline is consistency. Anyone can be disciplined for a day, a week, or even a month, but character is built by doing what is right over the long haul. It's built in the moments when no one is watching, when no applause is given, and when giving up feels easier than pressing forward. It's in those silent decisions, choosing to wake up early when you'd rather sleep, to walk away from temptation when no one would know, to finish what you started even when it's difficult, that the foundation of character is strengthened. Discipline is not about one great act, it's about many small choices that no one sees but God. Self-discipline also requires vision. You must see beyond the moment to the mission. When you live with discipline, you are training yourself for something greater than now. You are preparing for the weight of responsibility that your future will demand. Many people fall when they reach success not because they were unskilled, but because they were undisciplined. Their gift brought them into the spotlight, but their lack of self-control exposed their weakness. Discipline is your protection. It guards your character from being sabotaged by your own unchecked desires. The more disciplined you become, the more dependable, trustworthy, and impactful you will be. Your word is one of the most powerful assets you possess. It is a reflection of your integrity and a measure of your character. When you speak, your words carry weight, not just because of what you say, but because of whether you mean it and follow through. A person of character does not speak casually or make commitments lightly. They understand that every promise is a seed, and every fulfilled promise is a harvest of trust. In a world where promises are broken and commitments are easily abandoned, a person who honors their word becomes a rare and respected force. Your word should be your bond. When you say something, others should be able to rely on it as truth. Honoring your word requires discipline, but more than that, it requires intentionality. It means thinking before you speak and considering the weight of your commitments before you make them. Too many people overpromise and underdeliver, damaging their reputation and weakening their influence. But a person of character would rather say less and deliver more. They are not interested in impressing people with empty words. They are committed to living a life of consistency and credibility. When your actions match your words, you become a trustworthy person. And trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. Whether in leadership, family, friendship, or business, there will be moments when keeping your word will cost you something: comfort, convenience, or even personal gain. But it is in those moments that character is truly revealed. A person of integrity values their word above temporary benefits. They understand that breaking a promise for the sake of ease weakens who they are becoming. When you honor your word, you are not just doing it for others, you are doing it for yourself. You are reinforcing the standard by which you live. You are building credibility that will carry you farther than charisma ever could. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget whether you lived up to it. Humility is the soil in which true character grows. It is not weakness, passivity, or insecurity. Humility is strength under control. It is the ability to know who you are without needing to prove it. A person of humility doesn't think less of themselves. They simply think of themselves less. They are secure enough in their identity that they don't need to boast, compete, or dominate. Humility allows you to serve without seeking attention, to lead without demanding praise, and to succeed without becoming arrogant. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are valuable without needing to announce it. Character is tested most not in failure, but in success. When you begin to rise, when people start applauding you, following you, or celebrating your achievements, it becomes easy to believe the praise and forget the principles. But humility keeps you grounded. It reminds you that every gift you have was given, and every opportunity is a stewardship, not an entitlement. A humble person does not let success go to their head, just as they don't let failure go to their heart. They remain teachable, correctable, and approachable, qualities that are essential for continued growth and lasting influence. One of the greatest signs of humility is the ability to admit when you're wrong. Many people lose respect not because they made a mistake, but because they were too proud to acknowledge it. Humility allows you to take responsibility without shame and to seek improvement without defensiveness. It also enables you to learn from others, regardless of their status or title. The proud resist correction, the humble invite it. The proud seek to be served. The humble look for ways to serve. Pride creates distance between people, but humility builds bridges. If you want to be trusted, respected, and remembered for your character, humility must become your posture. Humility is also the key to building meaningful relationships. People are drawn to those who are authentic, kind, and willing to listen. Humility doesn't need to have the last word or prove a point. It values people over ego. It creates space for collaboration, mutual respect, and shared growth. In a world that often rewards image over integrity, humility stands out as a mark of true greatness. You don't have to advertise humility. It reveals itself in how you treat others, how you handle power, and how you respond to both success and struggle. Cultivating humility is not a one-time choice. It is a daily decision to live by principle rather than pride. The true measure of character is not who you are when people are watching, but who you are when no one sees. It is easy to perform for approval, to present an image that others admire, but character is revealed in the private moments. The thoughts you entertain, the decisions you make in silence, the standards you uphold in solitude. If there is a contradiction between your public image and your private life, eventually the truth will surface. Authenticity means being the same person in every environment. Consistency is not about perfection, it's about alignment. It's about making sure your inner life and outer life are not in conflict with one another. Many people focus on building a reputation, but reputation is what people think about you. Character is who you truly are. You can fool people for a season, but if your private habits don't match your public values, the cracks will begin to show. The most dangerous kind of hypocrisy is not external, it's internal. It's when you allow double standards to exist within your own life. A person of character refuses to compartmentalize. They understand that integrity is whole, not divided. You don't just act with honor in front of others. You carry that honor into your home, your hidden life, and your everyday routines. Who you are in the dark defines who you really are. Being consistent also builds trust with those around you. People may admire your gifts, but they follow your example. When your words, actions, and decisions remain the same regardless of the audience or situation, others begin to trust your leadership and respect your voice. They know you are not swayed by pressure or circumstance. This consistency becomes your credibility. It says to the world, you can depend on me. More importantly, it says to yourself, I am governed by principle, not performance. Living with consistency is not just about being seen as honorable. It's about becoming a person who honors truth in every environment, whether praised, criticized, or unnoticed. My friends, character is not built in a single decision. It is forged over time, in the quiet moments, in the private battles, and in the daily choices that often go unnoticed. It is not about perfection, but about direction, choosing each day to live with integrity, truth, humility, and discipline. Your character is the foundation of your destiny. It is the silent architect of your influence, the unseen force behind every lasting success, and the true legacy you leave behind. You may never control all the circumstances of your life, but you can always control your response. And every time you choose principle over pressure, truth over convenience, and faithfulness over fame, you are building a foundation that cannot be shaken. The world is filled with talent, charisma, and image, but what it needs is men and women of deep character. People who do not change with the times, but who shape the times by the standard they live by. So I challenge you today, not just to succeed, but to stand. Not just to rise, but to be rooted. Not just to be gifted, but to be grounded. Because when all is said and done, it is not your skills or status that define you. It is your character. And if you build it strong, everything else in your life will stand tall upon it. Build your character, and your character will build your future.